Hey guys, the Summer Edinburgh podcast series is brought to you by Beer 52, a perfect sponsor for the Fringe, especially in this drinking culture. Beer 52 not only wants to send you 8 incredible craft beers from all over the world via their monthly craft beer discovery club, they want to send you folks in the UK only a free case right now. Just pay $2.95 for the postage and have yourself a try. Just see if you like it. There's no minimum commitment. You can cancel or pause at any time. Grab that free case of all different craft beers at beer52.com/Colt. That's beer52.com/Colt. Enjoy those beers, but for now, enjoy the show.
This is the Art of Wrestling with professional wrestler Colt Cabana.
How you guys doing? Come on and sit down, relax. You're about to listen to The Art of Wrestling, a professional wrestling podcast. It's a life podcast. It's a personal journal. It's an entryway into the minds, the souls, the hearts, and the lives of the people involved in the world of professional wrestling. I am your host. My name is Colt Cabana. I'm a fringe goer. I'm a fringe performer. I'm on the fringe. I'm doing comedy. Most importantly, though, I am a professional wrestler, and I am not coming to you live from my studio apartment in Chicago, Illinois. I am in Edinburgh, Scotland, in my Edinburgh flat with my flatmate Brendon Burns. Before we go any further, this is a fan-supported and listener-supported podcast supported by people just like you. We give it to you free of charge every single Thursday. ColtCabana.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts from. A couple great ways that you can support. Rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, just like Heather T23. Hey, email me your address, and I'll send out an autographed Japanese DDT ticket right to you. You can also use social media, spread the word, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, however you do it. The best way that you can support, though, ColtMerch.com, DigitalColt.com, t-shirts, buttons, pictures, posters, DVDs, a children's book, micro brawlers. I will send that all out to you when I get home from the Fringe. I just put up a brand new shirt, Wrestling for Free Speech. It was made by @RobertJohnPatterson on Instagram. Go check out his art. He is an amazing artist, and I'm so proud and happy to put his t-shirt on ColtMerch.com. That's where you can support ColtMerch.com, DigitalColt.com. I am still in Edinburgh. It is week 2 of the Fringe for me, or at least for you. It's almost heading on week 3 now. I have had a great time. I am immersed in this world of comedy and Fringe, which I couldn't be happier with right now, especially there was some news that got leaked out, which I understand it was going to happen. And this is the perfect place for me to be right now because I was super stressed out when it got leaked out and people are talking about it. I don't even want people talking about it. I just want to be in my own world. That's all I want. And luckily, I just go see shows and I go perform and I don't even have to think about any of that. All I want is this thing to be settled, to be done with, and for me to move on with my life. I don't have anything to say about it. I'm going to try not to say anything about it after this until, everything kind of unfolds, I guess. I will say, I don't know who spread this rumor that I was backstage at the WWE. The last time I was backstage at WWE, I did a podcast with Hornswoggle. It was a house show, and that was probably, 4 years ago. But the internet doesn't always get it right. That's okay. They're known for that. It's kind of the charm of the internet. All right, that was a little downer for me. I don't know how to transition, so I'll just tell you. I will, so I just will. And I'll tell you about this week's podcast. What happens is we do a show every single night, myself and Brendon Burns. During the show, Brendon Burns and I open the show, we bring on a guest, and then we watch clips. When we bring on the guest, I like to talk to that guest about wrestling, what they like about wrestling, any knowledge they have about wrestling. Some of these comedians know a lot, some of them know a little, and I want to podcast that part because it's always fun. There's always a lot of fun stuff that's being said, and I would like for you at home who don't have the chance to come to Edinburgh to be a part of the festival with me. Sometimes when Brendon and I open the show, we will say a bunch of stuff. I mean, we have some stuff written down, but we'll put out information. So before I introduce each guest, I will say if anything happens, I will say if there's any information that you need to know, just so you can put it in context so you will understand what happens. The first guest that we have on, his name is Dave Marr. He's a Chicago comedian. He was actually just featured on This American Life, the podcast, one of my favorite podcasts. His show is about being in a diabetic coma for a month, and we did talk about it a little bit, but I did edit it out. You can hear the whole story on This American Life if you want to. Also, Rosie is a lady. She is our room tech. Brendon's chair broke as we were talking, and she comes out with an extra chair. So that's kind of the references being made. So here we go. Show 1 with Dave Marr.
Some of you might recognize Dave as handsome Mick Foley. Isn't he a good-looking Mick Foley?
I don't think any of them recognize. I think you're testing who could be less recognizable than the two of you.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
Yes.
Fucking started early.
He did see Jesus Christ. What? Oh.
See, that's what happens, cunt. Fucking.
I broke your seat.
Oh, does it work? Am I going to have to sit on the...
Yes, you're going to have to sit on the floor. No, we're good, Rosie. We're
Okay,
all right.
yeah, we're good.
We're all right. We're all right.
Fuck him up, Rosie. Fuck him up. Rosie kicked out.
I would love if Rosie just came in with that chair and just hit you over the head.
She is a bit adrenalized after last night.
Like, that was the part of the show also that we do every night. She comes in and hits you in the head with the chair. Yeah, Rosie did kick out a fan last night. I'd hate to say a fan, a drunk piece of shit last night. And I tried to get the guy to leave. And he was like 6'4", pretty big, and he like didn't leave when I asked him to leave.
And he was mushing his face. He was like...
Wait, he was mushing your face? You were mushing his face.
This is the guy, and I was going, hey, you gotta be quiet.
Yeah. So he started with a shush, and then he just started like... But normally he works babyface. He'll fucking turn heel in a second. He was letting the guy know how strong his fingers were, and he was like, shh, and then he just started... Ah! He was like, and fingers in the mouth, the whole 9 yards.
What's the thought behind? Like, why would he stay? He's not wanted.
Apparently, I am not an authoritative figure, but 5'1", 102-pound Rosie.
Yeah.
See, I'll tell you, I kept hiding. I brought way too much. I brought 2 things up here, but I brought a bunch of bullshit with me, and I had to stow it near her, and I kept apologizing, and she was like, "Don't be sorry, but like aggressively, like, don't be sorry," you know. And I'm like,
no, she's Scottish. It's hard to tell.
Okay,
I'll just hit you over the head with a chair later in the show. Then you'll be sorry.
Whatever you do, never take magic mushrooms in Glasgow. Because it's very hard to tell if they're being friendly or picking a fight. Are you late?
That's also the title of an ICW show I once wrestled at.
Are you all right? Is that true? Oh, okay.
All right, thank you.
Hey,
Comedy.
come on.
Dave, great to have you on the show. So before we get into the clips, I do like to talk to the guests a little bit about, we have guests that have ranged from loving wrestling to some that never even seen wrestling before. And I always like to ask, just when we talk about professional wrestling, kind of, do you have a memory or anything that you remember? What comes to mind? Anything like that?
Sure. Well, so I have a thought, and it actually connects to the coma. So I just figured bring as much stuff back to me as possible. So Bret Hart is like my first thought, and I think of him as wet and
unnecessarily so.
Yeah.
What is that?
The only wrestler like that, right?
No, everyone is.
Yeah,
now.
that's sarcastic. And I saw the documentary about him.
Chicagoans, you can't fucking understand
I
him.
saw Wrestling with Shadows. Or no, I saw the WWE just about Bret Hart documentary. Or maybe that was what. Anyway, I remember being moved by it, and I have no idea why. I don't remember anything about it, but I was like, this is my guy, and I don't remember why.
Oh, it's probably because you saw his father, who was like 85 at the time, just beating the fuck out of people in his dungeon.
Yeah.
And you probably have daddy issues, and it all just comes around. That's I can only assume.
But so when I woke up from the coma, I got a bunch of care packages, and one of my friends sent me a DVD, like a 3-disc DVD of Bret Hart that I still just sits next to my DVD player.
Whenever you're a little too dry, you're like, Bret, yep, gotta soak myself up a little bit. Well, Dave, I got a question for you. Dave, you want to watch a little bit of wrestling?
Yes! Oh, my God.
And if you are in Edinburgh, go watch Dave's show. It's called The Coma Show. It's at Barbados at 4:15 p.m. The next thing that happened was the big swerve, the big angle within the world of the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. My partner, Brendon Burns, the guy I've been doing the show with for the last 5 years, this being the 6th, he came down with tonsillitis. Unbelievable. Could not talk, was in bed, was a wreck, was a mess. He has his own solo show he's doing. He's also doing this show, and he had to stop doing it. So we'll go into a stretch of shows without Brendon Burns. My Canadian friend, Evan Deveray, He was on the first show post Burns and talked a little bit about wrestling in Canada.
Okay, look, I had a grandmother who really loved having Alzheimer's. Right? She really loved it because she kept telling me, she's like, oh, when I was a kid, I used to go down to the Forum, which is in Montreal, and watch the midgets wrestle. Oh. And then she would forget about saying it and say it again. So we'd watch wrestling almost every night, and she'd be like, Ma, did I tell you about the time I watched the midgets wrestle? And I'm like, I don't think you're allowed to say that, Nana.
What's wrong with wrestle? Is it a bad word?
I think that's the one that I was upset about. Oh, God, I really got to stop doing that. That's mildly offensive. Do we have any Australians in here? Is it okay I do that? No. Damn it! No. Don't dare it.
I know. I'll tell you, I'm friends with Hornswoggle, and I'll call him little person. He'll say, "Fucking stop it! I'm a midget." And I'm like, Jesus, I don't know. Are you allowed to say that? He's like, I'm one. I could say it. That's why I'm the only one who can give myself. I can call myself a hard Jew, you know, as opposed to You guys want to watch some wrestling? Let's watch some wrestling. If you want to watch Evan's show, he's at the Espionage every single night at 5:45 p.m. The next day, I called in the big guns to help me out. If you remember Russell Hicks from last week, he's one of my favorites. He does improv stand-up comedy, which is one of the hardest things to do. He does it for an hour twice a day. So Russell helped me fill in, and then our guest was Tim Renkow. I'll bring up Russell Hicks first, and then I will bring up Tim Renkow, who, if you can't put it together, he has cerebral palsy, and I recommend giving him a YouTube. It's a pretty thick cerebral palsy, but boy, is he hilarious. And sick. He's sick in the mind, and a great guy. All right, enjoy Russell and Tim.
Yeah, you know what? I was like, no, all day today, too, when you asked me to do the show, I was like, I'm going to mention Doink. And then you totally blew it.
We're on the snow,
I was saving that in my back pocket. I was like, I'm going to throw a Doink out there. Huh? Oh, you betcha, Doink. As if he doesn't owe it to me all the times I got stuck with him in the Sega Genesis version of the WWF game. Yeah? Oh, I'm fucking Doink again. Great. I don't even know what this John Wayne Gacy-looking motherfucker does. That's his finishing move. He kills you and buries him in his backyard. Oh, that would be great.
What did you prefer? Did you prefer bad guy Doink or good guy Doink?
Oh, I forget. Wasn't there a little tiny version of him?
Or did you like...
That's the PC term. Little tiny version of Doink.
Yes. Could you? You seem not to know, and I like the idea of you trying to guess his name.
Oh, this is all covered in my documentary, Many Faces of Doink, by the way, guys. There was so many. There was Sleepy Doink, and these are lesser-known characters.
Yes, of course, everybody will say it together. His name was... Dink.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Liked him a lot better.
Like, yes.
Don't know why. I've always liked smaller versions of better-known characters. Spike Dudley and New Jack, some of my favorite matches of all time. If you guys have ever thought, hey, what would a real-life serial killer be like if he fought Chucky? It was like that.
Also, New Jack, by that you mean is the littler version of Ahmed Johnson.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Or Michael Clark Duncan.
Okay, I guess we're just naming black people now. Yeah, he's kind of like a small version of Samuel L. Jackson. I don't think that's correct.
Wesley Snipes
What?
thrown in
No,
there.
those are just black people. This is the part Brendon would jump into the audience and grab somebody's boob for no reason, I think, and somehow that sort of calms the tension down.
Also, he has a show called Mansplaining where he is like the ultimate PC speaker. And, right, he comes in here and just touches everyone and anything he wants.
Yeah, but Brendon's version of being PC is like, all right, I know this is going to blow your mind, but I think bitches are equal. Like, all right, he's doing his best. That's good for you, Brendon.
Should we welcome our third?
Yeah, bring him out, ladies and gentlemen. Dink.
Please welcome to the stage amazing comedian, and he's going to bring out all the Brendon jokes for you. Please welcome Tim Renkow to the stage. No, Tim's going to be over here. How do you want to do this?
Oh, this is not going to be good.
Should I throw you over my shoulder and powerbomb you over there?
Oh,
No, that's how he got like that. There we go.
Shit, now you're going to sue me. You want to take that one?
Yo, I guess I fucking have to, don't I? Bad enough they get all the good parking spaces. Moving into my seats now? When is it enough for you people? I told you, I'm going to do the Brendon Burns role here.
can I just say?
I don't know, can you?
No.
Guys, we better start laughing now. I have a feeling these jokes are going to be coming thick and heavy all night. So take a drink.
Yeah, you only have to deal with this for an hour. It's all day, every day for me. You goddamn pussies. God, I wish I had a sore throat. I wish that was my only complaint.
Fucking Brendon. Sore throat takes off a week.
Yeah, you fucking pussy. Cause I also have an impression of Brendon. It's fine. Now I do have a sore throat.
Yeah.
Hey, take a week off, bud.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is Brendon has tonsillitis. He's complaining that his throat has gone out, and we're like, yeah, that's weird. I wonder how that happens.
Yeah.
Because he screams every night like a meth head who's mad you just stepped on his house.
Tim, tell me about your memories of wrestling, anything you like growing up, something that sparks a memory for you.
Well, I grew up in the deep south, of America, so I always liked to have my racism validated, which wrestling did. Like, my all-time favorite wrestler was Eddie Guerrero, right? Yeah, and then I just recently watched one of his matches. He's just all the Mexican stereotypes, just in one neat package. All I can say is Vince McMahon is so good at racism.
How good is he?
He is so good that...
His name's gonna be Papa Shango. Vince, I don't know if that's appropriate.
All I'm saying is, if he couldn't do anything with a Jewish warrior, no one could.
Thank you. Thanks. Someone's got my back. I would have been a fucking smash in Israel, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Selling yarmulkes.
I mean, how long, like, if you got popular, how long do you think it would have been until you had an oven match?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God.
You happy with that one?
Come on. Come on. Everybody's clearly ready to hear the answer to that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I would, instead of a Hell in the Cell match, it'd be Hell in the Oven match, right?
Oh, my God.
I didn't even like that. Why did you make me say that, you cocksucker?
Because that's what I do.
Yeah. What a claim to fame.
You're being escorted out by your female manager, Anne Frank. All right, never mind. Sorry. No. She's always hiding under the mat, right? And so, and then she comes out like a Shit, sign me up.
She be in the rafters?
That's right. I'd buy
I don't know. Let's spitball this for longer. This is a real life situation. This is like a writer's room in the late '80s of the WWF, by the way.
Maybe, just maybe, we should watch a little wrestling.
Yay!
All right, if you're at the Fringe Festival, go see Russell Hicks. 2 shows, City Cafe at 12:50 and Free Sisters at 5:45. And Tim Renkow is at the Monkey Barrel every single night at 8 p.m. The next night, I brought in a ringer. John Hastings, lovable John Hastings, who has been a fixture of this show for many, many years and on my podcast. Every year we did the podcast from Edinburgh. he came in as the co-host. He replaced Brendon for a little bit. He co-hosted for Brendon. And our guest for this show was Darius Davies. And if you're having trouble figuring out who is who, John would be the loud Canadian gentleman. You're over here, Darius. You can pose if you'd like.
Yeah, brother, fucking get down. Show him off that Bret the Hitman Hart shirt.
That's right.
I fucking hate Bret the Hitman Hart.
What?
Wow. Yeah, I was on Owen's side. He had legitimate reasons to be upset. Bret always was overshadowing him, and at that Survivor Series, clearly it was Bret's mistake that got him eliminated, and did Bret help out? No, he was too busy talking to Bruce, who's also a cunt.
Wow.
Well, you're Canadian, right?
Pardon me?
You're Canadian.
Oh, I am very Canadian.
That makes sense.
I recently urinated maple syrup.
What's that about?
You're wearing a Bret Hart shirt. Why, where, when, and who?
Well, just because...
Is that a great interview question or what?
Why, when, who? Basically, just like Bret Hart, and I've been to the gym, and I thought, oh, then Colt said, you want to come do my show? And I, yeah, and the shirt I had on me, so that's
So you're always repping wrestling shirts. What other wrestling shirts you wear?
Man, I got my favorite one's actually your one you gave me last year, and everyone, he hasn't got it this year, it's the best one he had. It's like you with a big head in the cartoon. And everyone says it's great, but I've got quite a lot of wrestling shirts.
Also, don't tell them I gave you one. Tell them they're available for sale outside.
Colt Cabana wrestling shirts available for sale.
Thank you.
On the way out.
And so you did wrestle.
Yes. So this time last year, how we know each other is I did a show called Darius Davies Road to WrestleMania. Not this year, but basically when I was 18, I had the dream of becoming a professional wrestler, despite weighing about 10 stone, having no athletic ability. And then I sent this awful video off to Tough Enough, like one of the worst, the worst Tough Enough audition videos you've ever seen. Just
what?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Hastings, did you try out for Tough Enough?
Absolutely not. I'm aware. I have dyspraxia, which means I was born without reflexes.
Ooh.
Thank you for all of you doubting my disorder. I know it sounds like I made it up. It sounds like I'm mispronouncing dyslexia, but I don't have dyslexia. I have dyspraxia. I can read a book fine. You throw at me, and then I'm fucked. And I even fucked that joke up because I'm tired, so the dyspraxia is affecting my mouth, so I said throw book at me. But you guys are a nose crowd, a fucking nice crowd instead of a nose crowd.
So the Tough Enough tryout didn't go well or did go well?
You know what? I never heard back from. I genuinely couldn't believe it. Never got a reply back from the WWE.
Darius, what was the moment in the Tough Enough video that makes you the most uncomfortable looking back?
Oh man, it's one of the most. I mean, and I'm a cringeworthy guy, but this is the cringeworthy to 10. I couldn't watch it for about a decade. I only watched it when I did the show.
Okay.
So that's how the whole thing.
What was one of the douchey things you did in it?
I took my top off.
Oh, no.
I put my hair, wet my hair, put baby all over myself. Then I called out Edge because I didn't want to call out Stone Cold because I thought I'm not on that level. I'm not Stone Cold level. But fuck you, Edge. I could take you on. Even though you went on to be like heavyweight champion, that's how little respect I had for Edge. Yeah, Edge, I'm gonna get you. And it's like one of those. And then the whole reason for the feud that I'd imagined that I was going to have with Edge was because my nickname was called Die, right? So my character name was called Die. That's the imaginative name I gave myself.
Spell that for me.
D-I-E. And then I imagined...
Wait. Was it Darius Die Davies or just...
It was just...
Die.
I hadn't really thought that much. It was just Die, like D-I-E, like Die, coming to the Die, like that.
Wait, were you dressed like a
I was
dice?
Right, listen. I was topless.
The many sides of Die.
No.
Ooh, snake eyes. Everyone loses.
Still a better gimmick than the Shockmaster. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and I just cut this promo, but the whole reason for this imagined feud with Edge was saying, oh, you telling me to die, or something like that. It was just, and it's awful. I've cut this, and I've actually sent it to the WWE. And they've got it, and it's terrible. And I showed this video anyway, and Colt came to my show, and that's how we got to know each other.
Hey, if you had a submission move, was it going to be called the tie-dye?
Well, hold on. If you want to talk about that.
I really do.
Well, all right. Well, you should have come to the show. I had two. So I trained with Alex Shane, who's now on World of Sport, right?
Also, don't point at me when you say Alex Shane. I'm Colt Cabana.
Sorry, I didn't. I'm just whatever you call it. I'm
gesturing.
Gesturing. It's not. It's gesticulating or something.
No, that's what he has is with the reflex.
Yeah. Anyway, I had two characters. I had one character called the Chemist who was from Edinburgh, and his finishing move was called Euthanasia, which was just stabbing his opponent with a discarded needle from the streets of Edinburgh. Because I'd only seen Train Spotting, so that was my finishing move. And then I had another character called the Altar Boy, and his finishing move was a blowjob. It was a headbutt to the nuts.
What a weird tag team they would make.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, and in this corner, two wrestlers, the reason why we no longer have a TV deal. Fuck the Catholic Church and Scotland is gross.
Amazing. Well, I think you're ready for the prime time, which is this show and a 60-seater in Edinburgh. There are no needles on the ground. But I would like to ask a question of both of you guys.
Yes, Mr. Cool.
Are you ready to watch a little wrestling? I'll give John one plug, even though he's going to be on a couple of these shows. His show is at the Pleasance Courtyard at 8:30 p.m. You can go see Darius Davies at the Free Sisters at 6:30. All right, we are halfway through the show, and I'd like to talk about one of our great sponsors. Of course, it's Stamps.com. I'm in Edinburgh right now. I've been collecting the purchases on Colt merch, and when I get home, I'm going to have a date with my computer and Stamps.com. I got some mail to send out. I'll tell you what, I could go to the post office, but why would I not just sit in my room and do it all from my home? And that's exactly what I'm going to do. We're in a society of on-demand, and just like this podcast is on demand, it should be the same for our mail. Why go to the post office when Stamps.com is right on your computer? Buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter, any package using your own computer and printer. Then just put it by the mailbox just like I do, and the post carrier will grab it and they will ship it off. It's so easy. I've used them before they sponsored me. You know I'm on board. It really makes sending my merch much easier. You should use Stamps.com too by using the code COLT for this special offer of up to $55 free postage, a digital scale, and a 4-week trial. Please don't wait and go to Stamps.com. Before you do anything, click on the radio microphone at the top of the homepage and type in COLT at Stamps.com. Enter in COLT. John Hastings helped me host again, and our guest was Scott Capurro. And if you don't know Scott Capurro, he was in Mrs. Doubtfire, which is always fun to watch that movie 15 years ago and then do a show with Scott. Here's the thing about Scott. I don't think he knows anything about professional wrestling. I think we told him it was a show about wrestling, and he just thinks like Foxcatcher or whatever that is. So it was fun to do this opening with him, but it was also fun realizing like, oh, he just thinks all wrestling is just wrestling. But he is fun and very controversial. Scott, can I, this is our show. This is the weird world of professional wrestling. Can I ask you,
this is it, huh?
This is all we got.
Oh, you thought there was going to be more?
Thought there'd be some hot wrestlers, but well.
Oh, wow.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
What would you say is, on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you say is Colt Cabana? I am, as a straight man, would say he's an 8, but charming, so I'm giving him a 9.
Right.
Hey, that's all right.
Well, the Jew kicks it up a notch. It does.
Oy.
And so I give you a 3. And no, you know what I'm impressed by? Because I have these bingo wings, and I thought, I thought if a pro wrestler can have them, it's not so bad. Because you lifted your arm at one point, and look. No. Let it go, girl. There you go. See, look, I know. Like my grandma. It's sweet. It's adorable. You're sweet. Oh. You're flawed. The Jew thing is one thing, and then the other flaw. It's sweet. I think it's sweet. It's sweet. You know what makes you more real? It does. Otherwise, you'd be perfect.
Oh, good save, Scott. You're gross, which is a quality.
I mean, I'd fuck you, but men will fuck anything. It's weird, though. That's kind of how I know about wrestling. I think I told you because I have a really good friend who's an ex-porn star wrestler. He did it for years. His name was Chip Grant is his porn star name. And that's his real name. It's Eugene Elmore Grant III. He's from Arkansas.
So hold on. He was a pro wrestler doing porn, or there's a different...
He was a wrestler in university, and his boyfriend was a wrestler, and they moved to San Francisco, needed money, so they made all these wrestling porn films. It's them in their singlets, kind of rolling around on one another, getting all sweaty, and then they bang the hell out of each other. It's fantastic.
I almost do wrestling porn.
Yeah.
I know. It's really Shawshank. It's good to watch.
What's crazy, Colt, if they just left those cameras on, you would do wrestling porn.
Yeah. I mean, for a lot of men of my age and specificities, Your type of performance, whatever that is something it's quite appealing. And I'm sure that I have a lot of friends in San Francisco that know who you are. And that, luckily, they probably watch you on TV, and fortunately they can operate the remote control with their left hand. I'm sure...
Oh, Scott thinks I'm on TV. That's so sweet. You don't get HD net at 3 in the morning. I'm sorry.
Gay men do. Anyway.
And then, does anything, I don't know, from your childhood or any, wrestlers, have you ever interacted with any?
Well, funny you should ask. When I was a kid, I used to be quite pursued and accused about being gay. And these twins, I talk about on my show, named the Grouse brothers, Brett and Brian Grouse, they were ginger and had pale, freckly skin. And they would pin me down on the lawn. I would let them because it felt like outreach because they were ginger. And they would hold me down, and they'd hang a big spit loogie over my face and pull it up, and then they'd wrestle me, and they always won. And they'd call me faggot. It was actually painful. It was something that I would like to pay someone 50 pounds to do now here at the Fringe. But I had a lot of experience trying to defend myself as a kid. I wasn't very good at it. I've always wanted to learn how to do it. So I'm kind of excited about watching these. I'd like a couple of tips. Because you never know at the Fringe. People come at you, they kick chairs over, they come toward the stage, they try to knock you around and stuff.
Well, then we can help you out with that. And I ask you, and I ask everybody, are you ready to watch a little wrestling? Yeah! All right, if you're in town, go check out Scott at Boteco. His show is at 9:20. The next show, Hastings was the guest, and so happy that Matt Ricardo could join us. Matt Ricardo is one of these friends that you make because you have very similar lifestyles, even though you have very different jobs, which happen to be very similar. He will talk all about it. There was a joke that was made because John, in the opening monologue, made a joke about a person named Cyril, and I had never heard that name before in my life. I didn't know it was a real name. The crowd got a real laugh. I thought he said cereal, but he said the name Cyril, which apparently is a name. So enjoy John, myself, and Matt Ricardo. Matt Ricardo's going to join us tonight.
Excuse me.
I'm going to go out on a limb.
Hello, gentlemen.
Best dressed guest on the show ever.
Ever. Look at the difference between...
Yeah. I feel like I'm the midway point.
Yeah, that's fair.
You do? You wear this every day of your life?
I have more than one suit, but yes, I always wear a suit.
I don't have more than one suit. The only reason I got a suit is because I had to go to trial for 8 days.
Time to get another suit, Cabana.
Yeah, right.
Oh, it's fun to laugh because it's not me.
Would you say that there is a wrestling character or a gimmick within the Matt Ricardo universe? I don't know why I said that.
Matt Ricardo universe?
Why did I say that?
I don't know.
They have made us say universe, and now I have said it, and I regret every second of it.
Right now, their #1 trending hashtag out there in the Matt Ricardo universe is 3-piece suit, 3-piece yes.
You happy with that one?
I feel as good as Michael Cole probably feels after he says that.
So you came up, did you come up with a gimmick, or have you been dressing like this since out of the womb?
Out of the womb, yeah. I'm dressed like this for 2 reasons. Number one, I like to dress like this, and people should dress how they feel comfortable, and I genuinely feel comfortable wearing this bullshit. And I don't really do it much anymore, but I learned my trade as a street performer. And this is not what you expect street performers to look like.
No, this is.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of why I like people to not quite understand, to not be the obvious thing. It's always more fun.
Yeah, you look out of place. You don't look like you should be a street performer. You look like someone from a council telling the street performers to move away so you're...
You think people from the council in Scotland wear this shit? How much do they get paid?
I don't know.
No, yes.
Now, Matt, you...
Good reaction, crowd. Way to leave me out on a limb there. Just staring at me like I just took a shit in your cereal.
Civil. It's pronounced civil.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Fuck me. I guess I live on Uranus in the Matt Ricardo universe.
Huge wrestling fan, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, I guess, what's your album, right? What's your main... what do you like? What do you dig? What do you get
What do I
off
like?
on?
Like performers? My man William Regal is a huge influence on me.
on you as a performer.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we are. I mean, you know, I'm trying to avoid name dropping like a cunt, but me and Mr. Regal are friends, and we both steal from each other, which is weird because we both, you know, wrestlers and circus monkeys like me share the same roots, right? The carnivals. We're both carny scum.
Do you also have a Japanese sidekick with you?
Hey.
How often do you hang out with Bobby Eaton?
I mean, not as much.
Fuck
as I'd
you
like.
all. They were a very popular tag team in the 90s called the Blue Bloods. If you don't get this reference, the next 45 minutes is going to be long.
Yeah. Also, don't forget, one was a blue blood from Liverpool or Blackpool, if you will.
Blackpool, yeah.
And the other blue blood was a man from Alabama. Great tag team.
Did he have a mullet? Yes, he did. Does he have a chin? Never.
So it's easy.
So yeah, I mean, there's a part in my sort of standard club act where I deliberately turn the audience against me so I can. Nice reaction. Look at that.
I'm always shocked by a heel turn.
Yeah, exactly, right. So that I can do something to them and then make them friends again. It's it's the little bit, but it's totally wrestling. And occasionally, like one person in every audience will go. Will kind of get that it is a quick heel turn. And I learned that from Regal. You know, Regal's the perfect person to, you know, that thing he does, I'm going to stand up, that thing he does where he goes, that, you know, that.
Oh, where it always looks like he's smelling shit?
Yeah, that fantastic fucking gurn that he does, where you can make an audience hate you, but they don't really hate you because they get it. And that's a beautiful thing that wrestling does the best. So I kind of steal that for some of my work occasionally, yeah.
And I want to ask, like, when did you first watch wrestling, and who did you watch, or what did you watch?
You're going to love this. The first time I watched, I didn't watch it as a kid because my parents were assholes. And
just throwing that out there.
You know, when I say were, are.
They still don't let you watch wrestling. They'd be very upset if you were here now.
They have less control over me now, but they are still the same level of asshole. And so we didn't watch the sort of World of Sport stuff. I wasn't allowed to watch that. So I got into it fairly late in life. My first pay-per-view was the King of the Ring that Mabel won.
Ah, King of the Ring.
So I got into it on a shit
Yeah.
show, didn't I?
In the very best of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
No, you say shit.
Seduce me.
Yeah.
For point of reference, that is the pay-per-view that's so bad. It was in Philadelphia, and people from ECW showed up, and the show was so bad, by the end of it, the entire crowd was chanting for a different company. And Jim Ross had to address it by saying, the people in Philadelphia don't know that we're the WWF, not something else.
Oh, man.
That poor man.
So that kept you.
Well, at that point, it was before that I knew I liked wrestling, but it was when I knew that I liked things on TV that happen only once. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
You know, like event television. And I knew, because we went to a street market in London called Brick Lane Market, which is fucking dodgy, and we bought a knockoff Sky Dish, and we got a hacked card, right? And we bolted it to the roof of our rented accommodation, and we could suddenly see this fucking stuff that I had never seen before. And I didn't know what it was really, but I knew that it was happening now somewhere else. And that's deeply exciting. So that's when I got into it. But then, the thing that hooked me was the lead up.
Sir Mo.
No, it was the lead up to the Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels Iron Man match. That was when oh my God.
When Bret Hart is swimming in that really tiny pool?
Yeah. It's
For those
exactly
of you who
that,
can remember it, they do these big run-ups where Shawn Michaels is training in a gym, and he's with all of the people that trained him throughout life. And then Bret Hart, they go to his house in Calgary, and they're like, get in the pool. And then he gets into what is essentially a bathtub, and he floats around for a bit. And then he has stubble on his face, and Jim Ross goes, why are you growing that beard? And he goes, because I've been concentrating. Like the fact that Bret Hart is a television personality and comes across like Beige Man, the Lord of the Boring.
Yeah.
Had a Simpsons character also. Oh, that's wonderful. Obviously, you're deep in the game. John, we know you're deep in wrestling. I asked this question to both of you and everybody. Do you want to watch a little wrestling? Matt Ricardo's been selling out every day, but you could still try to sneak in. It's a free show. City Cafe at 12:30 p.m. That's 12:30 in the afternoon. A little early for me, but I'm going to make it out to his show. And the last show, a big surprise. After 5 days and a lot of antibiotics, we were all super happy. Brendon Burns made the big comeback, back on the show. The voice was there, the shouting was there, and we don't even know. I mean, he shouted so much. I'm hoping tomorrow, after I post this, he will still have his voice. And that's almost something you could look forward to next week, to see if Brendon made it through this show. He yelled a lot on this show, but we had a real fun time. The guest was Spring Day.
You ever go to the wrestling and that guy that tries to get the chant going on his own and he gives up after 3? I'm like, fuck him up, Thingo, fuck him up, there you go. Oh.
It usually goes, fuck him up, Thingo.
Oh.
Spring, have you ever been to wrestling?
Yes, I have.
Get out of here.
Fucking, yeah, get under it.
I did. I went in Japan when I lived out in Japan.
Woo.
Japan. Yeah.
Do you remember what company you saw?
It was WWE.
What?
I think.
Wait a minute. Saying you were in Japan and you went to the WWE is like saying you went to the Edinburgh Festival, the world's largest arts festival, and came to this fucking show.
No, but I've also been to sumo. I've been to more sumo wrestling than I have this kind of.
Oh, that fake shit? We don't care. Not interested. But why did you to the WWE in Japan?
Because my friend invited me to go, and I thought I wanted to see the Japanese reaction to American wrestling.
Yeah.
And it was amazing because someone, I don't watch a lot of it, but somebody's usually kind of a dick, right?
So this would be the perfect dynamic here.
Right? And because it was he was so overtly cheating, they didn't really turn against him. They just thought, oh, this is the American way.
Oh, no.
Oh. And they just went, well done.
Look at those Americans doing their thing.
No wonder they're fucked.
Spring, when we talk about wrestling, does any memories come up, or have you ever met any wrestlers, or did you?
Well, I watched.
I know your boyfriend watches it.
Yeah, he watches it. When I was a kid, I watched it a lot, and my parents kind of vetoed it because I kept trying to do what they were doing on TV.
You did?
Yeah, and I was disabled enough. And they just, because I'd take like the cushions from the couch and put it on the floor and try to do flips off the couch and shit. And
wait a minute, you're disabled. He's a Jew. I'm deaf. Someone give us a fucking grant. This show is a triumph for the spirit.
I fucking love these people. I miss you so much. Can I? I know I'm supposed to work heel, but I just want to suck everyone off.
Jesus. So you weren't allowed to watch wrestling anymore?
I wasn't. After a couple of sprains, they're like, no, you can't do this anymore.
Well, and I got to, I mean, hey, like, no time better than the present, right?
Oh. Yeah.
You want to watch a little wrestling?
Yay!
And you can go see Spring Day's show every single day at the City Cafe, 9:15 p.m. My mom did want me to tell everybody that she misses you and she wants to talk to you. She said, use the hashtag AskCabanaMom. Get some questions out there so she has something to answer when I get home. Before we go, though, let's get into some plugs and
upcoming events.
The best way that you can support ColtMerch.com and DigitalColt.com, Twitter and Instagram at Colt Cabana, Facebook /AOW Podcast or /Colt Cabana. Each week I'll choose one person who reviews and rates 5 stars on iTunes, and I'll send them a signed show ticket from Japanese promotion DDT. I got a storytelling podcast, Pro Wrestling Fringe, plus past archives of this show, old and new, ad-free on StitcherPremium.com/Colt. Use the code COLT, get a free month. ColtWrestling@gmail.com is my very public email. Maybe you're a promoter, maybe you want to put me on your upcoming show or convention, or even be documented on this very podcast. I also have a YouTube channel. I also have a website, ColtCabana.com. That's where you can find my P.O. box. Send me something fun when I get home from the Fringe. Upcoming, I'm at the Fringe. There's a lot of shows coming up. I will be podcasting about it. Reserve your tickets, edfringe.com. Also, Saturday, August 18th, Dundee, Scotland, sweonline.co.uk when I get back. Thursday and Friday, August 30th and 31st, Chicago, Illinois, aawrestling.com. Saturday, September 1st, Hoffman Estates, and on pay-per-view. It's been announced I will be at and wrestling on All In. Sunday, September 2nd, Schaumburg, Illinois. I'm doing a live Art of Wrestling podcast from 10:30 to noon, starcast.com. And that night, Chicago Heights, Illinois, warriorwrestling.net. I'm flying right back September 5th and 6th, London, England, revolutionprowrestling.com. September 8th and 9th, Manchester, England, wrestlingmediacon.com. Friday, September 14th, Cleveland, Ohio, AIwrestling.com. Saturday, September 15th, Hazeltown, Pennsylvania, ppwwrestling.com. Sunday, September 16th, East Greenwich, Greenwich, Rhode Island. BeyondWrestlingOnline.com, a 1 o'clock and a 6 o'clock show. Friday, September 21st, Westbrook, Maine, LimitlessWrestling.com. And Saturday, September 22nd, Wyandotte, Michigan, GoBCWA.com. Intro music by the Ukulele Teacher on YouTube. Outro music by Superfun Yeah Yeah Rocket Ship. Podcast cover art and design by Jimmy Lee. Photo by James Musselwhite. Huge thanks to everybody on the show this week. Brendon Burns, John Hastings, Dave Marr, Evan Demaray, Russell Hicks, Tim Renkow, Darius Davies, Scott Capurro, Matt Ricardo, and Spring Day. Huge thanks to our sponsors, highspots.com, a VOD service that's amazing. PWGs, $5 wrestlings, Kevin Steen shows. You could also buy AMA knee pads, gear, masks, even a wrestling ring. Thanks to onehourtees.com. They help run prowrestlingtees.com. If you're visiting All In, you better be there. It's the wrestling mecca of Chicago. All right, it's been a fun, busy week at the Fringe here in Edinburgh. I look forward to introducing you to some new comedians next week who all enjoy talking about professional wrestling. This has been The Art of Wrestling for Colt Cabana. I'm Colt Cabana. Thanks.